since they are the ones who are supporting the nation to address that matter. I want
Cabinet Secretary for Health Cleopa Mailu there appearing before the Senate Health Committee, of course, based on the recent developments with their engagements with the doctors. Let's now speak to our senior reporter, Rita Tinina, live from Parliament for more details. Good afternoon, Rita. The Cabinet Secretary seems to be on the defensive after the latest turn of events. What did the members of the Health Committee of the Senate put him to task on?
Well, the CS found himself on the hot seat. The senators wanting to find out why the doctors' union officials were jailed in the first place, accusing him of failing, of losing control of the Ministry of Health. And what they wanted to know was what is he doing currently to ensure that the union officials are out of jail, since as long as they are in jail, negotiations to try and end the current pay dispute cannot continue, since he's the one, the union officials are the one mandated to hold negotiations with the negotiating team. And so he promised the committee that he was looking and doing everything possible to ensure that they're out of jail. This morning, he says he met with the Attorney General, he met with other legal officers from the government side, as well as the mediation team. And he says they are working on ways to ensure that the doctors are out of jail as soon as possible. The committee members gave him an ultimatum, told him to ensure that the doctors are out of jail by this evening, and he should come to report back to the committee tomorrow on the progress so far. But what also stood out was some members, Zipporah Kitoni, Senator Zipporah Kitoni, also wanting the minister, the cabinet secretary, to talk about reports. The media has been reporting about wrangles and infighting in the Ministry of Health. This is something that was alluded to on Sunday for the first time by Kotu Secretary General Francis Atwoli, who accused the minister, the cabinet secretary, and the principal secretary of not reading from the same page. He said there was infighting and wrangles between them, and he asked President Uhuru Kenyatta to separate the two. So the senators today wanted to find out what exactly is going on between the CS and his PS. And Muraguri, the cabinet secretary, told the committee that there was not any infighting in the ministry. He termed it as insubordination. He says he appointed the principal secretary, Nicholas Muraguri, to head a mediation team from the government side to sit on the table with other parties in this mediation dispute. But the principal secretary then wrote him a memo saying that due to national duties, he was not able to take that position to head the mediation team from the government side, and that he termed as insubordination. And members of the committee, the Health Committee of the Senate, then accused him of losing control. They were arguing, look, if your principal secretary cannot take commands from you, then what are you doing at the ministry? Senator Boni Halwale asking him to resign if he has lost control of the ministry. Now he is to appear before the committee tomorrow, accompanied by the principal secretary, Nicholas Muraguri. The senators also wanting to find out why there was an agreement that they say would have led to a CBA this time round to try and end the dispute. It was signed on Sunday night. The principal secretary, who is the accounting officer for the government, did not append his signature to that, and so they were terming that agreement as illegal. It will not count anywhere. And so he will be having to explain all that when he appears before the committee tomorrow. The CS also pointing out what he termed as several flaws in these negotiations. He says, first of all, why the CBA, they have not been able to come to an agreement on the collective bargaining agreement, which the doctors want implemented, is the fact that that CBA does not include the county governments. Health is devolved, but he says the CBA does not include the county governments anywhere. He also says that CBA was not approved by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. He also says there's another issue they have not been able to agree. The doctors want the Kenyatta National Hospital, the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, as well as the Kenya Medical Research Institute to be included in the CBA. The CS explaining that these bodies that have boards that control them, and so they cannot be part of the agreements that will form part of the CBA. Akisa.
7 doctors' union officials have spent a night in jail, and as you mentioned, the Senate Health Committee has asked the CS or has given him an ultimatum to ensure that they are out of jail. What are some of the options that the CS is likely to explore to ensure that this happens?
Well, he says he's going to do everything possible to ensure that they're out of jail. But currently, it is a legal matter. They were sent to jail by the courts. And that's why he says he met the Attorney General, the Chief Government Legal Advisor, as well as other legal officers.